Hi, welcome to the Boss Body Podcast. This is Sarah Haas, and I am so happy you are here with me. I have a special guest with me today. You may remember her from a previous episode, but our topic is different today. I have Dr. Amanda Dove, and Amanda is not only a client, but a dear, dear friend of mine. She has been with me for years. We started out doing nutrition work together, and now she is still a personal training client. So I get to see her every week. And I'm so excited to have her on today. Amanda, welcome. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I feel like a celebrity.
So I invited you here today because you have a really amazing transformation story. And I think it will inspire a lot of people to see what's possible in their life. So, first of all, I want to tell everybody you're a doctor, you are a general practitioner physician, and you work long hours and you have a very demanding schedule, not to mention a toddler. Amanda has a 1.5-year-old at home. So you are working 24/7. And I think a lot of listeners definitely can relate to juggling lots and lots of responsibilities. And you have just been able to kill it with getting healthy and keeping yourself healthy. So tell me a little bit about, for those who are listening, when you first came to me and we first met and you were kind of giving me, what you had going on and why you needed help. Will you just tell us a little bit about your story?
My mantra for a long time was I don't have time, and that's cool. And it was very reinforced by my job and my home life and my colleagues and my friends that it's okay to be busy all the time and not take time for yourself. And I had to unlearn a lot of things. That's why I'm still with you, because you helped me continue to unlearn those bad habits, because they can come back. You're not reinforcing this stuff. But when you and I engaged for this purpose, I had lost the same 40 pounds twice at that point. And I had done it through basically a combination of starvation and being very hungry all the time and exercising inappropriately and hurting myself. So I was very tired of doing that and wanted to know what is wrong with me. Why can't I maintain this? And why do I feel tired all the time? And why does everybody else seem to have it easy and I can't do it? I should be able to do anything I put my mind to, right?
And that's a common
So,
trap that so many women fall into. It's that comparison and looking at other people and thinking, oh, well, they have it all together. And I keep doing these diets and then I can't stick with it. And then I gain the weight back.
mhm,
So,
I
why do
would
you
lose
think you
weight very
weren't?
quickly.
Yeah. Why do you think you weren't able to keep the weight off? What was the issue?
Well, through working with you, um, I had to really finally internalize a couple of concepts. One, that willpower is not real. It's not going to do it. And I thought, well, I just calories in, calories out, and say no and push back from the table. All these crazy phrases that we've been peppered with our whole lives as women. The other thing that sounds really overly simplistic, but learning to make a bubble around myself that keeps out things like, oh, when someone says, oh, you've lost weight, you look great. That really affected me very strongly. And I would latch on to that. And either that was the thing that gave me confidence, or it also ruined my confidence because, oh, well, what were they thinking about me 10 pounds ago? Was I not valuable 25 pounds ago? Now I'm good and then I wasn't. So that, honestly, getting rid of that garbage is what helped me maintain caring for my body, because diet is not what this is about. It's about actually taking good care of this amazing physical form that I get for my whole life and cherishing it. I did not cherish it. I would weigh myself and feel disgusted and think bad things about myself. And I got to say, that's gone. It's just gone. I don't feel that way anymore. Hardly ever. Everybody has bad moments, but I can feel neutral about the scale and celebrate the fact that I got up this morning, my eyes work, I can eat, I can run, I can sleep well. It's a different me than it was all those years ago.
Isn't that an amazing feeling to not
It's exhilarating.
have literally not have the physical weight, but even more importantly, not having that emotional weight of just always feeling bad and always basing your own self-worth on where you were on the scale.
Yes.
And tell me about what kind of diets you tried in the past.
I have been very successful temporarily at any diet I've tried. So I did Weight Watchers and I lost weight very rapidly. Um, and then I've done intermittent fasting and keto, like hardcore keto, lost weight very rapidly, gained it back even faster. And the features of both of these long-term diets that I went on, because I was on Weight Watchers for 2 years, um, I was starving all the time. I thought about food 24/7. It wasn't meal planning, it was obsession about what I can eat, how much I can eat. I would eat it slowly so that it would last longer. Like, the energy that I put into both of these dieting styles was exhausting. And I'm not trying to say that those diets are wrong, because both of them had features that I still use, in a healthy diet approach. Um, but what I've done with you, I don't think about food. I just don't. Like, I eat and I enjoy it and I enjoy cooking and I like to meal plan because it's fun, but I'm not hungry and it's not consuming my thoughts all the time. I don't eat out of guilt anymore. If I want to eat something considered bad, I eat it and I enjoy it. And it's not, there's not good and bad anymore. It's a very different way of doing this. And I hope your listeners really catch that this is it. You won't have to do it anymore. You'll be different at the end of it.
Yeah, and I always tell people don't embark on any wellness plan that makes you miserable
Mm,
because it will not be sustainable. You can't be miserable forever. You cannot go hungry forever. And it can be so tempting because you hear people, like you did, getting those results. And we always want the quick results. We're sick of it. We don't want to carry that weight anymore. We just want to look good. We just want to feel good, but it doesn't last. And how many times does it take to prove to yourself? Everybody's looking for the next new thing. You try one thing, it works for a little bit, then you gain the weight back and you're like, well, that just wasn't the thing. That one just didn't work. Okay, now intermittent fasting is the new fad. So I bet that's going to be the thing. And you just keep repeating that cycle. And every time you do it and you're not successful in the long run, your self-esteem goes down again and again because it's reinforcing. I'm not good enough. I don't have willpower. I can't stick to this. I'm the only one. Other people are skinny and happy and healthy and doing all the things, and I'm the problem.
exactly. I was the problem, and I had internalized that thought, that it, which is so crazy because I can see evidence in my life and could then that I'm very successful at things I want to do, and yet I considered myself a failure when it came to my my pant size, which
Yeah,
is,
you went to freaking
I'll say
medical school. You're a doctor. You're
right,
a
right.
mom. You have
And
so
I
many
had such
successes.
terrible self-esteem despite that. So, I could feel one way in my my niche of my job. But outside of that, I was still that 13-year-old that didn't feel pretty, you know.
Mhm.
And until it sounds like magic, but honestly, until I accepted and actually loved my body, the weight didn't move. Yeah, 5 or 10 pounds would come off and back on. And I wouldn't know why. I wouldn't know what I did. But until I finally really internalized the fact that I am worth existing exactly as I am, no matter what that number says, none of that matters. Then the weight just fell off. I mean, you've seen it in the last year. Happiness is a tonic, and you can't manufacture that through dietary restrictions.
So what would you say was the turning point? What was that aha moment? A lot of people are still stuck in that I'm not worthy, I'm too heavy, I hate myself, I hate the way I look, I'm a failure. What was the turning point?
It was a lot of little turning points. So you helped me lay the foundation of, okay, here is how to actually eat well and nourish yourself. I thought I knew these things. I really didn't. I knew pieces of it. You know, I stopped weighing myself. That was a big thing because that became a marker of success. If the number didn't go down, I was disappointed and sort of a little bit devastated. And I started really being mindful of, am I eating because I'm hungry, or am I eating because other people are eating, or because I feel like I won't have fun if I don't go and eat this or have this drink, or will I hurt someone's feeling? I did not even realize how much I eat out of social obligation and anxiety. I didn't think I was a stress eater, but I was that type of stress eater who, oh, well, she always gets a steak. So I always got a steak. You know what I mean? Instead of, what do I actually want to eat? Do I even want to eat that? And if I listen to my body, I know what I want. I know when I'm hungry. I know what I'm deficient on. I know when I'm thirsty. I didn't even know those things before. Like I didn't drink water. I just existed from meal to meal
Yeah, we stay
thinking
so
about it.
busy. Yeah, we stay so busy and we become completely numb to our own body's signals of when it's telling us we're thirsty, when we're hungry, when we're tired, when we need more sleep at night. And and also doing these diets where you're hungry all the time and where you're counting
Mhm.
everything and you're depriving yourself and you're never allowed to have anything, that you enjoy, those indulgences further breaks that connection with your inner knowing. Our bodies are the smartest, most intelligent supercomputer that ever will exist. And if you just get back to the basics and listen to your body, I mean, look at a baby. You have a
Yep.
toddler, you know exactly what I
You
mean.
cannot make a toddler eat.
Nope. They will eat when they're hungry. They will sleep
Precisely.
when they're tired. Well, babies sleep when
Yeah,
they're tired. Toddlers are a little
they're a
more
little different.
complicated.
But the food thing is spot on. You
And
know,
they
sometimes
exercise
they
all day
eat,
long. They
yes, they
move
never
their
stop,
bodies. Mhm.
and
They
they go forth with joy. You know, they experience life with excitement. And that's another thing too. I'm like, well, I'm not enjoying this. I'm not enjoying counting calories and obsessing and worrying about what it's going to say on the scale in the morning. Even when I was successful with that, I was still miserable.
Yeah, you
And
lose
I would,
40 pounds and you think, "Okay, I'm there. Here's
I'll
where I
be
wanna
happy
be.
now.
I'm gonna be happy." And then
No.
you're not happy because you still don't feel good. The
Mhm.
bar keeps moving up, and
Correct.
you're not happy every day because you still have to be restricting and punishing and forcing.
Hmm. And it's just gone. And I'm so happy it's gone. And now I know when those things creep back in, because it's not magic. Those influences are all still there. I mean, look at social medias in our face constantly, television, advertising, the way they manufacture clothes, the way things are labeled, it's all bombarding you. So if you don't have that good bubble to say, no, those are not true things. The true thing is that I am worthy of love because I exist as a piece of the divine. And the size of me has very little to do with that.
Yeah, and like you said, we're reinforced with the opposite from a very young age.
Yeah.
Sometimes we get messages from parents or teachers or friends, if we're bullied at school, if we feel a little bit different, and you just carry that in your heart for years and years. And it continues with social media and, all these influencers and fashion industry. And it's really hard to break out of that mindset.
Even when you don't think you buy into that, oh, I'm above that. It seeps in your psyche, like it's designed that way, just like cigarettes are designed to be very addictive. I mean, we're easily manipulated humans, so
And people
you
are
got
making money. They're making money
100%.
off of your insecurity. That's why dieting industry keeps coming up with the new latest and greatest thing because you've already tried the other stuff. So they have to put a really crazy twist, remember like the cabbage soup diets and the
Oh
grapefruit
gosh, grapefruit diet.
and
I've
the
done
all
those.
liquid
Mhm.
diets. And now there's keto and intermittent fasting. And like you said, some of those do have good elements, but they don't get to the root. And until you get to the root, you won't be able to break that cycle. You'll keep reverting back.
And you're worth delving into the root of the problem. That's part of the lie that we're told over and over, that band-aids are fine, that just lose the weight and you'll be happy and things will work out. No, you are worth the hard work of finding out what you're all about. You only get to be on this planet once, as far as I know. Maybe I'll find out something different, but let's dig into it and see what it really means to be a human being and be healthy and be happy and experience life. So you help me continue to not just live, not just survive. I have that defense mechanism where I'll just get in and work and exercise and shut out things that I need to deal with. You don't let me do that because every time I shut that stuff out, I'll gain weight without trying, without eating, because yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah, your emotions, everything you feel has a physical reaction in your body. Like when you're stressed and your heart starts pounding and your palms start sweating, or, you're scared and your eyes dilate. Those are physical reactions to a feeling. And anytime you're putting yourself down, when you're beating yourself up, your body feels that and it will react and it will
Yep.
manifest in could be weight gain, could be heart attack, could be
Hmm.
disease, could be low immune system and catching flus and things like that. It can manifest in lots of different ways, but the worst way is your internal feelings and your emotions and
Right.
the way that you feel about yourself. And we don't want
And
to just survive, we want to thrive.
correct. And I don't think there's not enough voices saying that exact thing, that survival is not enough, that you're worth learning to thrive, and it's not an innate ability for most people. Most of us need teaching and help and encouragement and support, and we have unfortunately been taught from a young age that you should take care of yourself and be independent and not depend on anyone, and those are lies.
Just pick yourself up by your
Yep.
bootstraps and
Just
keep
try harder.
forging.
Yeah.
Try harder and
Power
and
through the
beat
pain.
yourself up is what will motivate you. The inner critic is your coach
Nope.
when it's the opposite, because when you're beating yourself up and you feel bad, that's what keeps you stuck. That's what keeps you from moving forward. And then when you release that and you're lighter and you're freer and you're more joyful, that's when things start happening. So I want to ask one more question. Going back to when you said your mantra was, I don't have time. I don't have time. Because I think a lot of people feel that way. And of all people, you deserve it because you're working long hours as a doctor and then coming home to a toddler. So how did you find the time? How did you make that change?
In tiny, tiny increments. I had to let go of this weird concept I had that if I didn't exercise or relax or meal plan or whatever it was for at least 30 minutes or at least an hour, there was no point in doing it at all. I literally clung to that. And that gave me a great excuse. Well, I don't have that time, so I'm not going to work on it at all.
Yeah, if you
I'll
don't have an
ignore it.
hour for a hardcore workout, oh well,
Yep.
might as well skip today.
So did I take a 10-minute walk during lunch instead of sitting and eating chips, which is what I used to do? Yeah, I did that. And I have to positively reinforce that every time that that was awesome that you did that instead of doing something someone else asked you to do. Or, yeah, on the way home from work, instead of going straight home like I feel guilted into doing because I'm a mom, I stopped at the park. And sometimes I walk and sometimes I jog and sometimes I sit on a bench for 5 minutes and breathe. And those things are successes. So it didn't start by, oh, I'm going to run a marathon and start training. No way. No way. I can do those things. And I feel confident that if I want to do that, I can. I can make that time happen because my family and my friends they've moved around me to support me instead of my perception that they were keeping me from it. I was keeping me from it. They really weren't. People will monopolize your time if you let them. And if you keep on letting them, they'll monopolize more of your time because you're letting them.
That's
And
a
you don't have to
really
be
good
me.
point.
I'm not good at saying no. I'm not. But I can say maybe next week. I can say that. Or I'll
Saying
get
no
back
is
to you.
hard. Saying no is really hard because we're raised to take care of everyone, especially as women. And when you have kids, you do have, you to a certain extent, you don't have a choice. So you are going to have a little bit of less time, but there are seasons, and
Mhm.
sometimes you will only have time for that 10 minutes, and sometimes you'll have time for the whole hour.
Right. And I'm shocked and so excited about how much she can participate in too. Even when she was a tiny baby, there was a lot of self care for me that she could be right there with me. And honestly, she enjoyed it and watched me. And you've seen her doing jumping jacks. I mean, she's all about it. And it's a bonding thing for us. And I'm sure parents of older children can find ways to do that too. And yeah, it happens and it happens organically. You don't have to force it.
And the awesome thing is, you are setting such a good example for her of self care, and that you deserve it because kids do as we do, not as we say. So you
Mm,
can tell her all day long, you're worth it. You need, give to
yes.
yourself. Don't just throw yourself under the bus for everybody else. But if you're doing it, you're modeling that. And that is
What she
how she's
sees.
going to grow up. And that is what she's going to do. So giving yourself permission to rest when you need it and to take the time to nurture and nourish yourself is going to go a long way toward how she's going to treat herself as she grows up. And it's not just kids, it's family, it's friends. And we as women in society need to start putting ourselves first because then that gives others the permission to do it as well. We carry busyness as like a badge of honor. I'm so
Yes.
busy. I have so much work.
Mhm.
I worked till 10 o'clock
Yes.
last night and da, 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 da.
Admire and feel sorry for me. That's our exchange of values, and you're exactly right. getting, clicked in with you, and kind of you helping me reshape my priorities has bled out into other members of my family and my friend group. And there are certain things that were expected of me that people have stopped expecting, which is really nice. Like, Amanda will always say yes when I have an emergency. Well, no, I mean, you try to work it out for yourself a little bit first. I'm always here to help. But yeah, I'm not the first one to think through your problems now. And it's not a bitterness thing. It's a, oh wait, I can handle this myself now. It's okay. So
Yeah,
yeah, it
you're
will flow to your family members and all the people that you're in contact with if you're modeling healthy behaviors.
yeah, and that is what I'm here for. I want this to ripple out. I want as many women as possible to thrive like you are and to release the weight of the world and to see that when you start doing that, that's when the weight comes off. That's when the true health begins. Because health is not just about your body, it's not just about food, it's not just about exercise.
Mhm.
It's about your emotions, it's about your career, it's about your relationships. And you can't focus only on one area and truly be healthy. So,
Yep.
thank you so much for
Thank
sharing your
you.
story
Thank
with us
you for
today.
doing this.
I want everyone to thrive and to feel as good as you do. I mean, you are just glowing and you're just an amazing human being. And I'm so glad that you're in my life.
Thanks. Same, sis.
Thank you, everybody, for being here and listening. This was such a fun conversation. I think I could talk with Amanda for hours, but thanks
Me
again
too.
for being here, and I will see you next time.